A few isolated, sharp, possibly thundery showers around, but in the warmth we'll see highs again of 24 degrees, 75 Fahrenheit.
This is BBC News. I'm Lekwesa Burak. The headlines at 5. President Trump is in Singapore for an historic summit on denuclearization with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Mr. Kim arrived several hours earlier. The meeting with Mr. Trump will take place on Tuesday. Also, Tory MPs are urged to rally round Theresa May as the government prepares for a series of crucial parliamentary votes on Brexit. Marking 100 years since women first won the right to vote, processions have been taking place across the UK. Hello. Donald Trump has arrived in Singapore ahead of Tuesday's historic summit with the North Korean leader. Tuesday's talks will be the first ever meeting between a sitting USA. The Duke will be spending it privately. He didn't attend the Trooping the Colour military parade yesterday. He retired from public service last year. Well, you can see more on all today's stories on the BBC News channel. But for viewers watching BBC One Wales, it's time for BBC Wales Today with Gary Owen. You're watching the BBC News channel. Let's remind you of our top stories this hour. The time is 5:15. And President Trump is in Singapore for an historic summit on denuclearization with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Mr. Kim has already been greeted by Singapore's Prime Minister. The landmark meeting with Mr. Trump will take place on Tuesday. France condemns President Trump's description of the Canadian Prime Minister as dishonest and weak in a tweet following the G7 meeting in Quebec. And we're going to stay with that story because before President Trump flew to Singapore, he